I picked this first poem because, as I said, I love to be in a room full of people who love poetry. And I know that you all are not only poetry fans, but poets yourselves. And I have a feeling you will identify with this. I call it Annunciation. I grew up in the Catholic tradition. And the Annunciation, if you don't know, is the moment when the angel Gabriel came to Mary and said, guess what? You have never been with a man, but you're going to have a baby, and it's going to be God, which is a lot to process in one shot. But it's the idea, the whole idea in general. It's not a Catholic poem, I don't mean that, but it's the idea in general of when something from beyond you calls you to something. And again, I think for people who write poetry, since there's so much money in it for all of us, obviously some kind of calling is involved. Oh, and in this poem, by the way, too, I should say, I'm happy to be interrupted at any time with questions or comments. I mean, we're a small enough group. We can be cutting edge and interactive. Also, if you happen to want to hear a poem twice, don't hesitate. Just let me know. I'll be happy to read it to you twice. And I won't be offended if you don't ask, so that's no problem either. In this poem, I make a reference to the Nazca. The Nazca are, a lot of you may know them from the famous Nazca lines, which are a number of geometric figures and animals drawn on the desert that can only really be seen from the air. These were done in ancient times. I actually have, as my own personal symbol, which you can see on my website, the Nazca hummingbird. It's an amazingly stylized version of a hummingbird. But anyway, the Nazca here, it's a reference to their belief that hummingbirds were messengers from the mountain gods. Annunciation. Once the hummingbird comes to you in a dream, they are, as the Nazca knew, messengers from the mountain gods. Once it has hovered before you, blurring wings of beryl, topaz, cobalt, hungry for nectar, dips its long bill into you, leaving soft grains of sun-yellow pollen against the walls of your throat. Poet, wake up. Avoid at all costs the sad silence of denying that aching seed, rain, fruit, sex, word, planted there at the root of your tongue.